In this video, I will give you updates on what's going on regarding the many predictions swirling around the UFO community. Since my previous video titled Big UFO News About to Drop, which published on November 15th, I've gained more intelligence on what we might potentially be able to look forward to regarding new UFO revelations and a push toward a post-disclosure world. And I wasn't about to leave you, my beautiful audience, out of the loop with my new discoveries. I mean, that's why I'm on this planet, you know? Before we go any further, here is the original clip that literally set the UFO community on fire. It's taken from Ryan Sprague's amazing podcast called Somewhere in the Skies, and it encompasses a prediction by James Fox, the director of the movie The Phenomenon.
Last question for you. Do you have any hope of the future of UFO studies? Maybe from a governmental angle, but if not, do you think we're ever going to find out what's going on?
I know unequivocally that there's something very big that's imminent, and I know that for a fact. I think it's going to come in the form of either a statement or something of that nature. And sit tight for that. And I'm very confident that's about as all as I'm going to reveal. But it's imminent. And I can't say if it's 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but it is, I've been told it's imminent.
Now, some were under the impression that this was going to all take place on Monday. But of course, James Fox, the original source of this prediction, stated very clearly that it could be 1, 2, 3 weeks, etc. However, it would still be imminent. So while it may not be within days, it's not going to be within months either. Furthermore, Fox stated that it was going to come in the form of a statement or something of that nature, which is the first clue as to what this revelation could be. Lucio Lene writes, so if Tim is being serious and one of these is true, it really is big news. Maybe not what ufology wants, but still a massive story. Mick West, the resident UFO debunker, chimes in. I put my money on something less tangible, like a new eyewitness or a TV deal. To which Tim McMillan responds, I like you, Mick. I really do. Please don't put any money on any of those guesses. And Tim McMillan is one of the most reliable sources and has proven time and again to have truly remarkable inside sources informing him on the current climate of the UFO disclosure process. Now that exchange is a follow-up from this exchange. Tim McMillan, November 13th. So what's up with this big UAP news I keep hearing about? Plain Fiction responds, top 3 guesses, metamaterials test results, first UAPTF report with acknowledgement of off-world origins, Air Force announcement that Tic Tac is ours, to which Tim responds, 2 out of the 3 are incorrect. Here's another tweet from Tim giving us some more information on what this impending revelation may encompass. I heard Monday's news has been pushed back a little bit, but still probably next week. I also heard that formally Monday's news isn't going to inherently be just on UAP, but rather more wide-ranging for the significant future of which UAP will be a part of. Here's a fascinating exchange which gives us further insight to what may be coming. Paul Scott Anderson. So can you confirm there is something else coming as well apart from your new article? Yes, I can confirm, Tim McMillan says. Mick West responds, describe it with one adjective. Tim replies, rebellious. Now I find this adjective rather interesting. Recall how the Pentagon spokesperson has been going back and forth on the responsibilities that Lou Elizondo had in the Pentagon and the question of whether ATIP really studied UFOs or not. The Pentagon has been doing a true disservice to the American people by not being straight with the American people, and it is really upsetting. And yet, the adjective Tim McMillan uses is rebellious. So maybe the statement, as James Fox described it, or something of that nature, that is coming down the pipe is related to someone from UAPTF coming public and setting some of the records straight regarding what they do, what they discovered, as well as what Lou Elizondo's responsibilities were when he worked for ATIP. And related to that is a fascinating exchange between Danny Silva and Lieutenant Tim McMillan taking place on November 17th. Imagine the United States government creating a task force to study craft that come from its own inventory. Wouldn't happen, no way. The beginning of Tim's replies. Lest we forget, I've independently verified that Lou Elizondo has an active top secret clearance that was just renewed months ago. I guess he's publicly lying, scamming, and the US government is like, F it, give him a top secret clearance anyway, making a bigger deal out of what would amount to widespread criminal conspiracy and government waste. Number 1, create a task force. 2, brief elected leadership. 3, brief senior officials. 4, violate the law in statements, albeit limited, that have been provided to the public. Honestly, if anyone, especially critics, actually believed any of the above was true, they're incompetent for not making a bigger deal out of what would amount to widespread criminal conspiracy and government waste. This gets to the heart of something I've been harping on for a very, very long time. I personally have found some journalists highly irresponsible in their assessment of what is taking place right now. It is a huge failure in critical thinking skills. Tim McMillan has verified, and look, again, I trust him as a credible source, highly competent, honest, rigorous. Tim McMillan has stated that Lou Elizondo months ago got his top secret clearance renewed. Okay, you don't do that for a crackpot. You don't do that for a lunatic. It is a huge. Many people don't understand the significance of being given a top secret clearance. It means the government trusts you with secrets that could literally damage the security of the national interest of the United States of America. That's a big deal. And yet, Lou Elizondo left the DOD with an amazing resume. The man has fought in wars. He's been shot at. He's spied on behalf of the United States government. He's done counterintelligence for the United States government. He has spent his entire career dedicated to protecting the nation of the United States and has been entrusted to do so by the American government, by the Department of Defense. He has had oversight duties within the Department of Defense where he was given some of the most sensitive secrets that any foreign government would love to have regarding what the special access programs are up to. Right? He's had oversight privileges within the array of his career. This is a man you should be taking seriously. He left the Pentagon. He told the world UFOs are real. He told the world that it's not just his opinion, but it was his colleagues too. And now we have UAPTF. What do you think his colleagues in the UAPTF right now are going to say if they're asked about UFOs? I can tell you right now, they're going to mimic what he says. They're not going to say, they're probably Russian drones, or they're probably Chinese drones, or it's not that significant. No, it's significant. They're doing right-hand turns. They're doing hypersonic velocity without signatures, meaning, for example, a vehicle is seen going beyond the sound barrier and there's no sonic boom. Transmedium travel. These vehicles have the capability to travel through space, through our atmosphere, and through water with no problems. With earthly human civilization tech, you need a submarine to go through water. You need an airplane to go through the atmosphere. You need a space shuttle with rocket boosters to travel into space. We are talking about positive lift, where these vehicles do not have any obvious form of propulsion, source of propulsion. They don't have wings. They don't have exhaust plumes, and yet they're able to maneuver in all kinds of exotic ways, and they're able to stay aloft in one place. They're able to go in one direction and then another direction with technology that does not seem to be consistent with anything that any military inventory in the world has at its disposal. Now here's a tweet from Lou Elizondo from October 15th that gets to the heart of something I've been harping on for a very long time, which is there is an absolute disconnect that breaks off most of human civilization from very small pockets of people within the U.S. government and other governments that either know we're not alone or are highly confident we are not alone in the universe. And they've come to this conclusion because, at least within the United States government, the U.S. military and all of the technological properties all over the world, whether in space, in sea, radar systems, planes, sensor data of all shapes and sizes, have collected data over many decades on vehicles that have capabilities that are simply not consistent with the known capabilities of human civilization. Elizondo states, I had no preconceived notion as to what the phenomenon is or isn't. In fact, I never gave it much thought. My job always kept me focused on other topics. However, once I saw the data, it was irrefutable to me that we're dealing with something completely outside of our understanding. Getting back on what this upcoming UFO news could be, here is some further dialogue. Mick West on November 15th. I'll wait. McMillan responds, probably the best thing anybody can do. Invariably, no matter what it is, I'm sure some people will be shocked and some people will be disappointed depending on what their expectations are. Reddit R UFO, November 19th, 2020. Just in the interest of tempering expectations, the Monday, probably this week news is not directly related to UAP or the UAPTF. It's not more UFO videos. It's not another December 16th, 2017. It won't tell you if we live in an ordered universe or if we're alone. But I don't know what it is. My understanding is it'll be good news for UAP transparency, and a key piece of closely guarded information is a person's name, and it may have to do with the current political turmoil. Now that's about all the intelligence I have for you today regarding the rumored imminent UFO news that is going to drop. Now, I believe it will drop, but I'm not going to say I'm 100% how would that even be possible. Furthermore, I do believe this is worth reporting on because the chatter that is occurring within the UFO community amongst some very credible people is an objective reality and should be, in my opinion, collated for the benefit of other people to make up their own minds on what this could all mean. So for me, in my subjective perspective, it is newsworthy and you can make of it whatever you wish. Let's close out this video with a beautiful clip from Ryan Sprague's recent interview with James Fox, in which James Fox gives his impression on what greater transparency of our place in the universe could do for us as a human species.
The other prong to that whole potential revelation is, I think it could be just exactly what the world needs right now. I think that it would force us to see ourselves for who we really are, and that's one race and one planet. And I firmly believe that. It sounds like a kumbaya moment here, but how could you not? How could it not have a unifying effect on all of humanity? So I'm very optimistic about it, and I think even if it's a little scary, we don't have a lot of all the answers. That's okay.
Yeah,
I agree with James Fox on this, and I recognize that initiating greater transparency on UFO reality by the national security apparatus is very complicated. It's not without certain kinds of risks, and that it has to be done carefully and thoughtfully. I understand that. But on the other hand, there's the question of cost and opportunity. And from my perspective, the cost is so much higher in having this disconnect between the national security apparatus and the rest of the world in terms of the nature of their reality and all the costs that go along with the science that is not being accomplished, that would be accomplished with the benefit of knowing more about our reality and the breakthroughs and the innovations that may occur as a result of that. That is being squandered, and it's being squandered at the expense of the quality of life of human civilization now and into the future. Perhaps this more than ever is why this policy of secrecy amongst those that have the forensic data, and I do believe they do, must come to an end. God willing, may it come to an end. I'll see you in the next episode.